Hello, and thank you for your interest in joining TipBrightly's product demonstration today. I'm Roger Keaton, the Chief Marketing Officer of TipBrightly, and we're so honored to be here, having won just a few weeks ago the InnoFact Show's Truly Disruptive Award. Means so much to us at TipBrightly, and we're so honored to be here. And I'm here sharing the stage with El Rustique, our founder and CEO, who would like to say just a few words.
Thanks, Roger. Hello, everyone. This is a really exciting moment for us, not only because we've been recognized by the InnoFact Show, but that we're also here. It's our first international trade show appearance virtually. And I'm really excited to take this afternoon, a few minutes to tell you how TipBrightly works, why we started it, and also just to share with you some of the stories of how our product is helping employees and employers. So I'm going to stop my video screen and then switch over to our presentation. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so how many of you have been in that situation, one of these situations where you wanted to leave a tip, you're in a hotel, and you didn't have cash, right? So if I could see you, I would imagine a lot of you holding your hands up, because we've all been there, and it's awkward, it's inconvenient, and it's not just a problem for us guests, but it's also a problem for the employees and the employers. For me, that TipBrightly and wanting to solve this problem really started actually in a hotel when I was traveling for work. Previous to starting TipBrightly, I was a researcher. I worked at universities around the world, and my last university was at Stanford. And I was at a conference and rushing out of my room and wanting to leave a tip for the housekeeper and didn't have cash. And I had my phone in my hand, and I had just finished paying bills, sending money to my sister through PayPal, and rebalancing my portfolio. And I thought to myself, why can't I just leave a simple tip? We have this technology, and it's not being optimized. And so that question is what put me on the path to starting TipBrightly. So our mission is to enable tipped employees to recover lost opportunities for earnings. We're in an increasingly cashless society, and now with COVID in a contactless world. And it's the employees that we really want to help recover those earnings. Our solution, which we'll tell you more about, is a really simple and easy platform that enables that digital tipping and integrates into the experience guest feedback, and then also generates analytics. And we're helping hotels, housekeepers, delivery drivers, cafeteria staff, vacation rentals, a whole assortment of businesses that actually came to us through last year, searching for ways to enable cashless tipping. So I was telling you my story about being in the hotel room and wanting to leave a tip. And there's a personal story behind that as well. So when I am not able to leave a tip, it bothers me emotionally, actually, because my mother was a hotel housekeeper. And growing up, I always knew when she earned tips, because she would take my brother, my sister, and I to McDonald's. And so those tips really matter. And for women especially, like my mother, and TipBrightly is about helping her and women like her and employees around the world who are losing their tips and earnings. So just quickly, a way that we look at tipping, and I think what sets us apart from other apps that are enabling, those kinds of payments, is that I see tipping as not just a transactional act, but actually relational, and that tipping is, and TipBrightly is a win-win-win for the service ecosystem. So, it solves that pain for the guest. It helps employees increase their earnings, and that in turn improves their motivation, their satisfaction, and all of that helping the employer increase their retention, attract employees, improve their service quality, and at the end of the day, all of that coming together and increasing their cost savings and reducing costs of, say, turnover. And right now, as you all know, employee shortages are a real issue for the hotel and hospitality industry, and this is a solution. So here's quickly how TipBrightly works. We use QR codes, which we all know and have seen in restaurants that are being used for menus. So we generate QR codes that are linked to individuals, employees, departments. We'll show you how that works in a minute. When a guest scans a QR code with their phone, they're able to verify the employee or the recipient, use Google Pay or Apple Pay to send a tip, and then leave a rating and feedback. And it just takes seconds, and it's fast, secure. We use a global payment processor called Stripe that serves countries around the world. It's convenient. You can tip anonymously, any amount, any time, and it's customized. So the whole solution is versatile because we are thinking about, again, the service ecosystem in any business that employs tipped workers. So I invite you now to take your phone, launch your camera, and point it at this QR code on the screen, and you'll be able to see how TipBrightly works. Okay. And if you're not able to do it, you can always visit our website, and we have a demo QR code on there, tipbrightly.com. So moving on, as I mentioned, people always ask, how does the payment work? Well, as I mentioned, this Stripe is our trusted payment processor. Those QR codes, when scanned, takes the user to a web page. They accept the transaction fee or can deduct it. And we think that the transaction fee should be transparent. And incidentally, 95% of our tippers are accepting that fee. And then an alert is sent by us to the employee, and then it's settled out and paid to the individual business, directly deposited by Stripe within 1 to 2 days. So Roger's going to talk about how the accounts actually work.
Thanks, Del. So using TipBrightly in your property, your employees can earn tips individually or as a pool. So for example, an entire housekeeping department or the valet staff may choose to use pooled tips. So we generate the unique QR code that's assigned to each employee or department. We customize the signage with the hotel or business logo for visual appeal and brand standards. Again, we send real-time SMS tip notifications whenever a tip or feedback is received. It's instant. The guest feedback is sent in real time to management as well as to the employees. We also provide a dashboard for tracking tips and transactions, the payouts and feedback. So here's an example of the Kimpton Hotel Heiress and the way they customize signage in their property. And on the next slide, we have some other examples of ways that you can use and display the QR code and our service. So it can be on a key packet, it can be a business card type of card. There's many different ways that we can help you customize the signage for your property. Here's an example of some real-time feedback. So not only does feedback happen during the guest stay, but because the QR code can be emailed or sent or referenced later after the guest checks out, the guest can actually make a gratuity at any time from anywhere. And here's an example of a housekeeper, Khalil, who received a 5-star feedback after the guest stayed during Christmas. And this tip and feedback was received a few months later when the guests had time to go back through emails and think about their lovely stay during the Christmas holiday. So this is great to add to post-stay guest survey reviews, emails. It's very versatile to use in any way that you see fit.
So just moving to the back end, all right, so that's how the guest and the employee will see how TipBrightly works. On the back end, this is what the QR codes look like. So here's an example actually from a hotel that has a housekeeping and kitchen. You could see the QR codes and how, you know, how they're viewed. And then here is where we customize the QR code. And if you look at the animation here, there's a way to customize the description underneath the logo. That can be the title of, that can be the name of the employee, it could be the department, location. It's really up to, you know, your imagination. Then there's an icon that actually also can be customized. That feedback question, if you want to say something other than any feedback questions or room for improvement, that you can put that in, and any of this can be done at any time. Let's see. So here's the dashboard. Oh, go ahead. Here's the dashboard. This is for how the employee or the department, the supervisor would look at their tips and payouts. And then also download the daily activity reports. You can filter by transaction, employee, date, and time. And we've all seen how the Excel spreadsheet works and the kinds of things you can do with it.
So imagine if you had the capability of using the guest feedback and the tip transaction data together in combination to analyze your business in ways that have never been possible before. Of hotel managers, restaurant managers, you know, the performance analytics that we can provide will show you who is earning tips at what time of the day. There may be associations and combinations of information that you've never had available at your fingertips before. And we think that that is crucial in today's environment of satisfying guests and bringing folks back who haven't traveled during COVID. And every guest is more important than ever before. And here, coming soon, is some data visualization reports that we will be able to provide very simple information, but top line, total tips over time, daily tips over time, amounts, all sorts of data that can be visualized for your CEOs and your company, you know, accounting departments and whomever. And then also,
oops, sorry to jump in. This part really makes me excited, I think, as a, you know, social scientist. You know, being able to see what power a piece of data like a transaction, a tip, can actually generate in volume. So what we're finding, for example, are, you know, higher than average tips, how frequently the tipping is happening, the range of tips, and incidentally, we pre-populate the field for $5, and so everything is, all the transactions are, you know, $5 and above. We're seeing habits, guest tipping in $5, $10, $15 increments. nothing in between. And, also just the method that they're using. So this is uncharted territory. And to think about the tip being an indicator of satisfaction, of behavior, I think is really, really exciting. And imagine, if you have if you're a hospitality group, being able to compare these across properties and seeing what that means.
Here's an example too, in ways that the information can be used that's never been available before. Most often guests send their reviews and submit their feedback after their stay. However, in this example of how appreciation goes a long way, there was a guest who was so happy with Anderson's service that they rated him a 5-star review and said some wonderful things about his service, also mentioning that to Kempton and IHG, which is the corporate office. So this happened in the moment during his shift, and this information was able to be emailed and sent to not only Anderson, but to the general manager at the hotel. So I think about all the situations where before an employee even goes home for the day, they can be rewarded in the moment that day for something that happened just a few moments ago. So again, I think this is just wonderful, just a wonderful option that we can provide to you and your business.
And to just build on that, imagine how Anderson felt to know that this guest really appreciated exactly what he did, changing the bedding to no feathers, and seeing that they were so delighted that they've shouted them out to the highest level. So we're talking about the impact that has on motivation and also service quality, and identifying the kinds of practices that guests appreciate. It's all here in this example.
So one of our top customers is the Collective Arts Brewing company, which is in Canada, and they are an artisan brewing delivery service. So we reached out to all of their delivery drivers, and Dan, who is one of their top earners in the company, sent us some information. We wanted to know how TipBrightly has been impacting their lives, and this is what Dan said.
When I started delivering for Collective Arts last spring, not many customers tipped me. People who did offer cash tips were pretty hesitant to do so because of the pandemic. Some people looked uncomfortable reaching a hand out, and others would just awkwardly place change or bills on the ground. With TipBrightly, I saw my tips increase to hundreds of dollars every month. Like, to get home from a shift and see a significant bonus waiting for me in my account is pretty great. Even the amount of cash tips I get have increased. Some people see the tip your driver sticker and then are encouraged to tip that way. TipBrightly stickers have a QR code on them that customers can scan with their smartphones. The QR code opens a web page that has my name and company name and the logo on it, and fields for payment information and a review. Another thing I wasn't getting before TipBrightly was feedback from customers, which is another nice thing to see when I get home. TipBrightly, in my opinion, reminds customers and us as delivery drivers that the work we do is appreciated and necessary for the company to function. It really strengthens the fabric of what makes up the business by showing us it cares.
So I just have to share, I played this last night for our team, our all hands company and meeting that we have weekly, and there was just silence after this, and tears, because to hear how the whole product worked from the perspective and experience of an actual employee, is just something that it can get any better than this, and the value of it from him to the customers all the way to the employers, and feeling that appreciation, as that slide before of having a win-win-win. So here are a few other testimonials. You can read more at our website. Just some highlights of the testimonials here. One actually talking about the specific amount of earnings that have helped the employees. And this is from David McCartney, who is the GM at Hotel Eris, and you saw earlier their tipping card. Also, how quickly our system is to implement and for the guest to understand. And another talking about just the happiness they feel about actually having an opportunity to earn tips. And this is from a cafeteria conference center where there had not been that opportunity. So thank you so much for hearing our presentation. We're excited to be in this space, to have the stage. Thank you to the InnoFact show. I know this is a first virtual conference. It has gone without a hitch for us, and really appreciate the stage. We're going to also be on a panel, I think it's tomorrow at 11:45 Pacific time. I'll be on the panel with the other award winners for the Disruption Award, and having a conversation about innovation and how we see our mission and our product disrupting the industry. So thank you very much. You can visit our website. You can also email us at info@tipbrightly.com, and our virtual booth is open. And also you can search for me, Roger, on the what is that called? A wonderful network that's available. Just showing your interest, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.